Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq veteran 8888. Let me ask you a question. You ever heard of the analogy of a bull in a china shop? That makes sense to you? That's what Obama is right now. He's a bull in a china shop. He's on the way out of the White House, and he's just a pissed off, annoyed little red-headed stepchild, and he's clawing at the walls on the way out, knocking crap off of tables, causing a scene, breaking the chandeliers, pissing on the rug. He's doing everything he can to cause the biggest stink that he can on the way out, and he knows it. What am I referring to?
Gun control.
Gun control.
He hasn't gotten his way.
He hasn't gotten his way. So he has signed more executive orders than any other president in U.S. history, and is probably the most unpopular president in U.S. history. Now, what does all this have to do with? What we're discussing, guys, is recent, unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen all of the executive orders that Obama's talking about, and he's crying on TV, shedding a tear.
Well, I mean,
what does this deal with?
The whole emotional town hall is just, to me, it's just a ploy. I mean, he's just pandering to the left and pandering to his base and whatnot, and they just soak it all up. I mean,
he's playing fiddle while Rome burns.
I kind of equate it to the same as like some kind of big evangelical preacher or whatever, some big old mega church, and they're just, soaking it in. Oh, the Holy Spirit. I mean, I don't get into all that mess, but I kind of see it the same way. I mean, he says something, even though it can be completely untrue, and they just soak it in. Like, yeah, we need to do something about that.
They eat it up.
Oh, my God.
Well, guys, obviously, we're not uninformed people. You're not uninformed. We're all like-minded people here. So what we want to do in this video is we want to discuss, these recent proposed executive orders. Now, what exactly is executive action? I think that's what we have to consider. The way the law process in this country works is, we have a balance of power. That's the whole reason for having, a House and a Senate and representatives.
Checks and balances.
Checks and balances, okay? The way that laws are passed in this country involves a intricate and sacred system of checks and balances. That's what makes this country great, is making sure that things are done in a lawful way. Now, what did Obama say? What of all the news saying about this? Oh, well, the gridlock in Congress and the gridlock in the Senate and the House and all of these parties that are responsible for proposing this legislation, moving forward the legislation, voting on legislation. It goes to the president's desk and he either vetoes it or he signs it into law. That's the way the legislative process works. A executive action bypasses all of that. Now, the president cannot just arbitrarily say, all right, well, this is law and screw you, suck on it.
Now, that's the whole checks and balances thing. Not one branch of government has total control over the other two. That's why, bills that are introduced in the House or bills that are introduced in the Senate, they have to go to the other chamber of Congress, and then they get submitted to the president's desk for approval or veto, depending on whether or not it passed both those houses. It can be changed along the way.
The president realizes that he cannot get what he wants through the actual legislative process. But guess what? That's the way it's supposed to work. That's why he's not getting his way, because what he wants is not popular.
Well, Obama said that he's gotten letters from thousands of gun owners across the country, basically sympathizing with his wants.
Illinois?
Did you send Obama a letter?
I didn't.
I didn't either. Maybe it's all those people in Chicago, where they're like I don't know, what was it? Like
I did call up the White House last week, and I called the pizza place up there from the White House, and I ordered like 1 million pizzas. No, I'm just kidding. No, but guys, so let's talk about what exactly is on the chopping block. So what Obama wants, in a nutshell, he wants expanded background checks. He is calling for reform that involves primarily the way that we purchase firearms in the U.S. and the things that we.
All right, so
with.
One of the things we were actually out and about yesterday running some errands, and we stopped to eat, and there was the town hall that just took place was actually on the television, albeit it was in Spanish, and I was trying to figure out what the hell they were talking about. But
that was interesting.
But anyways, even the subtitles were in Spanish. But you can imagine we like Mexican food. But anyways, I went and I researched it, and some of the things that I saw, I'm like, wait a minute, this is crazy. It says, okay, well, any felon, okay, so any felon can go online and buy a gun and have it shipped right to their home. False. All right, so Eric and I both used to have CNR licenses, which are a Type 03 FFL. That allows you to buy certain firearms that are classified as curio and relics, typically military surplus. Old firearms,
stuff.
okay, that's centerfire. Not black powder, but centerfire stuff that's antique, okay? I could buy a gun from Classic Firearms or Widener's or wherever, and if it's a CNR gun and I have my FFL on file with them, sure, they can ship it right to my door. I don't have to go through an FFL holder. But if we buy a Title I firearm, which is anything that you can walk into a gun store and buy,
Sure.
you can buy it online, sure, but they usually need a copy of your driver's license, and it ships to an FFL holder. You go and you fill out a 4473 on it. It doesn't go right to your door.
A curio and relic license applies to a very small amount of people.
Very, very small.
Not very many people have them. They're not very common. It is a slippery slope there, but here's the thing. Our illustrious government would have the general populace believe that you can just go on some website, buy a gun, and have it shipped straight to your house and completely circumvent the process of having to go through a background check or anything like that.
I saw a funny post with some episode of South Park or whatever, and like, Kenny and Cartman and all, and Stan or whatever, they're all talking about, we need guns. How are we going to get guns? And then the next scene is like they're on the street and they've got guns. Like, wow, that was easy. I mean, I think that's what the general populace are like, well, mainly the left and whatnot, thinks of buying guns. They think you can just go out on the street, and they always use that analogy like, oh, we got to keep these guns off the street. Well, my guns aren't on the street.
My guns
are yours?
No, my guns are not on the street, okay? So the expanded background checks and everything. So basically what he's doing, to put it in a nutshell here, is he wants to close a problem that doesn't exist.
Yep. All right. So
he's wanting to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
Yep. So number one on Obama's list: keep guns out of the wrong hands through background checks. Well, guess what? We already have a background check system, and I want to elaborate on something real quick before I continue. I see all the time where there's reports of like, oh yeah, 22 million background checks processed last year, 185,000 processed on Black Friday. Oh, record numbers of background checks. Okay. Well, guess what? That's not really indicative of how many guns were purchased. You can go and you can buy a gun with a carry permit. Okay, well, if I use my carry permit, I don't go through a background check. Well, guess what? There's 5 slots on a 4473. Guess what? You can do more than that. They can attach a form. You can buy 10 or 20 or 50 guns at a time if you want to. You might get a call from the ATF and say, hey, just curious why you're buying all these guns. Oh, well, I'm just a collector and blah, blah, blah. I just bought a big lot of like...
I invested in something.
I invested in like 6 crates of Mosins or 6 crates of Yugo 5966 with consecutive serial numbers.
And that's
as an
legal.
investment.
It's you're able to do it. It's not illegal.
But like, all right, so they always talk about the gun show loophole and all this kind of crap, and
no such thing.
It doesn't exist. Okay, I mean there are public forums that are available for people to buy and trade guns and stuff like that all the time. I mean I've bought guns from folks that were just older and their kids weren't interested in guns, and they're like, man, I got to thin my collection out because I don't want to pass away and have all these guns. I'm just going to keep the most cherry pieces. I mean, that's how I've procured a lot of my military surplus, and that's something that Obama wants to do too, is kind of change the way that federal firearms license holders are seen.
Are viewed. What is considered a dealer. Now, before we get on that vein, I'll put it simply. This AR we built, all right? I purchased this receiver. I did a form on this receiver. The receiver is the firearm. This gun, I don't give a crap what anybody says. This is my property. I can do with it what I damn well please. That's the bottom line. This firearm is a piece of property, okay? It's not some like controlled bullcrap. This is my property.
Now, if it was an
it's
NFA,
no different than a damn tractor or a car or a horse or a cow. It's no different. This is my property. I can do with it whatever the heck I want to.
And you can sell it to anybody who you deem necessary. Most of the time, lawful gun owners and responsible people, they'll meet somebody face to face if they're selling anything. If I'm selling a piece of music gear, sure, I might sell on eBay or something like that, but there's a lot of people that sell guns on Gunbroker, but they still have to go to licensed dealers.
Correct. Now, on that vein, do you think that I'm gonna sell my property to somebody that I think is some unsavory character that don't need to have a gun? Of course not. there has to be some responsibility there, guys, and there's, you have to use a little bit of common sense.
All right, so here's one thing that I found kind of interesting, and it's very arbitrary right now. Like, okay, so what is a dealer? What's classified as a dealer? Well, the ATF has a whole pamphlet on what is an FFL dealer. But all right, so the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is making clear that it doesn't matter where you conduct your business, from a store, gun shows, or over the internet. If you're in the business of selling firearms, you must get a license to conduct background checks. So, okay, so what does it mean if you're in the business of selling firearms, I ask? If I sell one gun on the private market, am I a dealer? If I sell 10 guns, am I a dealer? If I'm an old-timer and I invested in a big military surplus collection 20, 30, 40 years ago with the thinking, well, maybe this can be my retirement. Okay, so if I start selling those guns, what am I going to be prosecuted by the ATF as a illegally selling firearms without a license? Yeah. I mean, where's the line there? Yep. They don't make one.
Right. This is what I take from that. All right. This is just my take for what it's worth. Opinions. Well, we're not going to go.
We have opinions.
Let's just say we have opinions, among other things. But I'm just saying. But what I take from that is your livelihood. If your livelihood and your way of life and how you pay your bills and put food on the table depends on selling firearms, and guess what? You're a gun dealer. You're a gun dealer. I mean, that's the bottom line. Now, if I'm Joe Blow, whoever, and I work hard, I pay my taxes, I work every day, I have a regular job, and on the weekends, okay, I might buy a gun or two from a buddy, and maybe I went on an online forum and talked to some fellow gun owners in my state, and I found okay, so I buy this Glock or whatever from a pal of mine or something who I've known for years or something, and he, and this is how it commonly happens, okay? Among friends, a guy might have a gun for sale. Hey man, my tires are bald on my pickup truck, man. I need money to buy new tires. I'll sell you my Glock for the cool guy price if you can just help me out. That's generally how it happens between friends.
Yep.
And it's one of those things, hey, I'll sell you my gun. Can you help me out? Yeah, sell me your gun. Then you might take this gun around, use it for trading stock, sell it for a little bit of a profit, make some money on it, or trade up into something you want. Guys, it really is just as simple as boys and their toys.
Yep.
With gun sales and trading and buying amongst friends and amongst people who are peers and who are equals, that's what this all comes down to.
Yep.
You're not just going to buy like your buddy's Glock from him and then go down the road and sell it out of the back of a Crown Vic with blacked out windows to some dumb ass in the ghetto. You're not going to do that.
What are you buying?
What are you buying, boy?
What are you selling?
We got Rolexes too. I mean, but the thing is, you want to buy a Rolex? It's not like that. But that's what the government would have you and the general populace believe.
That's buying a gun on the street.
Oh, that's putting it on the street.
All right, so also the FBI.
I'm horrible.
The FBI is all right. So the FBI is overhauling the background check system to make it more efficient and effective. The envisioned improvements include processing background checks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because we crazy Americans are buying so many guns all the time. We're just gun crazy.
Have you been drinking?
No, I have not.
He's just crazy. He's like this all the time.
And when it comes down to this kind of stuff, sometimes it's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Sometimes if you can't laugh about this kind of stuff, it'll just drive you crazy if you don't look at it from the vein of, is that really happening?
And like a few weeks ago, there was a whole thing in the assault weapons bill that was introduced.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a thing in there about expanding the 3-day waiting period or whatever if there's a delay to a 10-day period, and that way the FBI has time to process the background check, and you can't just go and pick your gun up if they're not doing their job. Okay, so whatever. That's not a big deal. I don't go through a background check because I've got a carry permit.
Why don't we make a 10-day wait for welfare checks to get cut?
Hey, that's not a bad idea. All right, so moving on to number 2. We're just kind of touching on this guy. Okay, make our communities safer from gun violence.
I'm not being evil. I know some people need it, but you know what I mean.
Make our communities safer from gun violence. All right, well, allow more of the citizenry to carry in places where otherwise they couldn't carry. How about you eliminate gun-free zones, and that would make our communities extremely safe. Legal concealed carry holders,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what can they do? Oh,
Yeah.
they're not. Oh.
So, all right, yeah. If you're going to do that, then why don't you allow legal concealed carry permit holders to come in and sit in on sessions of Congress and just watch right there in the building? Mm-hmm. If you want to be safe, right? If we're equals, are we truly equals? Are we equals? I mean, I'm asking you. If you're some government person, you're watching this, you put your pants on just like I do. You're no better than me. I mean. So what? You live in the gated community and you have armed guards and Brutuses that protect you left and right and fancy, surveillance systems. You're going to see everybody coming and dogs with laser beams on their head and crap. I mean,
sharks. Sharks. Sharks with freaking laser beams.
Yeah, okay. So they got a big round moat going around their community with sharks that are in the moat, and it's a saltwater moat.
And they've got
there's
freaking
crocodiles.
laser beams.
Yeah. So, the thing is, I mean. Are we or are we not equals?
Yep.
I don't believe in that crap, that elitism and that you're better than me type crap. I mean, put your money where your mouth is, I guess, is what we're getting at there.
Hey, I just read something that's kind of cool. All right, so the Attorney General convened a call with U.S. attorneys around the country to direct federal prosecutors to continue to focus on smart and effective enforcement of our gun laws. You mean our current gun laws that are being abided by law-abiding people, but ignored by criminals? Wait a minute, isn't that old news?
Well, look, this is what I expect. The next time I see Obama on TV, I want to see him in like one of those yellow and purple polka dot dresses, the 50s glasses with the dang wings coming out, and I want him to be in like one of those purple beehive hair pieces, like just this granny, like 50s nanny, like. Just nanny.
Well, he's pandering
Miss
to the nanny state.
But it's a nanny state. I mean, guys, here's the thing. Men don't ask permission. Free men do not ask permission. And the president surely doesn't ask permission. The president is a figure who is respected, loved, and loves his country and is a patriot.
He's also hated.
And that is certainly not the person that I see. When I see Mr. Obama on TV, he is certainly not that person. Mm-mm. I don't see bravery. I don't see a person that I want to follow into battle.
I don't see a leader.
I don't see a leader. And here's the thing. Free men don't ask for permission, and the president surely doesn't beg. My thing is, put your money where your mouth is. I mean, guys, these executive orders are so crazy. I mean, if you're the leader, be the leader.
Well, speaking of that, all right, I mentioned
but lead through respect.
All right, so let me get this straight, okay? I just thought about this. All right, so the president, he wants to hire or has hired or whatever the case is, 230 new FBI personnel to help process background checks. Well, wasn't there a story about like 50 Special Forces soldiers that were sent to Afghanistan, only 50 to deal with some kind of issue out there, and now they're like held down or whatever, they're in a bunch of trouble? So 230 FBI agents to help process background checks on guns here in the States, but he sends only 50 special forces to solve some sort of problem in Afghanistan? Another problem in Afghanistan?
I haven't heard about that, to be honest with you.
I just heard a little bit about it, but I mean, that seems like a
misallocation of valuable government resources.
Well, not only that, but that sounds like just poor priorities.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, so... All right, make our communities safer from gun violence. That was number 2. All right, number 3, increase mental health treatment and reporting to the background check system. So this is something to do with like the Social Security Administration, that they're starting a rulemaking process to include information in the background check system about beneficiaries who are prohibited from possessing a firearm for mental health reasons. What does a beneficiary have to do with me buying a gun? I mean, so if like my child or something like that, if I'm receiving a Social Security check, because of whatever, and my child has some sort of mental disability, then it means that I'm going to be denied on a background check for a firearm or a background check for a carry permit? And what does that mean?
You know what this all makes me think of?
What?
It makes me think of...
1984?
Well, yeah, not only that, but it makes me think of feel-good legislation. Like, it's almost like it's something that's being put out there just because it makes him feel better. It makes him feel like he did something about it. It makes him feel like he made a difference. When his constituents and the Congress and all of the people that are involved in the legislative process their priorities are in a different area, or their priorities are not on gun control, and he wants to put that priority out at front and center, and he feels like it is his way of saying, yeah, and that's right, I did that.
Well, you know,
I did that.
when the president starts talking about something with this much fervency,
Give me a
it
break.
gets covered in the media 24/7, and then other relevant things that are going on get kind of pushed to the wayside.
right.
Like the repeal of the healthcare law that's kind of still being pushed
And
through.
he's going to veto the crap out of that, and you're never going to hear a single word about it. They'll make sure that they're showing the Kardashians' panties all day. You will not hear a single thing about that.
Oh, wait a
crap.
minute. American Idol starts back, I think.
Oh, they'll
Right?
they'll do it then. Like, oh yeah, quick, get that over there.
Are you watching it?
No, I don't watch that crap.
Yeah, me neither. All right, so number 4. All right, so these are just things to think about, guys. I mean, the executive actions, they're not like put into place or anything like that yet, but whatever. All right, number 4, shape the future for gun safety technology.
Yeah, this is a good one.
All right, so
listen to this.
if we can set it up so you can't unlock your phone unless you've got the right fingerprint, why can't we do the same thing for our guns? Obama asked. Again, he's not changing laws here, so he's just encouraging federal agencies to prioritize gun technology.
Hey, hand me that Jungmann right there.
The Jungmann? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, one Jungmann.
Let me see.
Coming right up.
Let's see what we got. Let's lock this to the rear.
All right.
I think that's locked to the rear. All right,
So,
let me pull
the-
this magazine out. Hang on, Chad. I'm trying to help.
You're trying to help.
I'm trying to help. Let's see. I think I got. Where's my phone? I'm gonna try to make this work.
Here, you want mine?
Yeah. Let me see your phone.
Here, do you mean to unlock it?
No, I don't want you to unlock it. Let's see what we got here.
Wait a minute. Use your phone. Actually,
No,
yours might not fit.
no. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
Oh, that's
Let's
great.
see what we got. Let's see.
Come on, you remember how to work that thing,
I
don't you?
do.
Come on now.
Let's see what we got.
Ah,
There.
it's a gun safety device.
It's a gun safety
wait,
device.
let's see. Hang on. Here. Let's flip it around here. All right, so, let's see. Oops, it's this finger. My thumb. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
It unlocked.
That's it. That's the answer. That's the answer.
Here, give me my
I
phone.
want my $1 million.
Get my phone out of there.
I'm not going to be able to. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. See, now I can get it out. Yeah, there you go. Now watch this. Watch this.
Watch that finger.
Boy,
Ugh.
that will get you too. Look at that. Wow.
Like that Hakeem. All right, so
Anyway.
the president has directed the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security to conduct or sponsor research into gun safety technology. Well, guess what, guys? There's been a lot of crap with smart guns and all this kind of mess, and putting a chip on the grip of your Glock 17 that only you can access and whatever. Well, guess what?
Them first.
Guess what?
Them first.
The research and development on that is exuberantly expensive.
And millions. Dude, it's like microstamping. All right, these guys that say, oh, well, we got to have microstamping, that when you shoot your gun, it puts a little microscopic code on the brass.
Yeah, serial number
Come
on the brass.
on, genius.
So yeah, the gun is serialized, but then inside the chamber, there's a serial number matching the gun that's etched. Okay, so every time you fire it, the serial number of your firearm gets put on the brass. Okay, well, guess what? You know, the FBI has ballistics labs that can match bullets to their firearm, okay, if they're found. But, okay, well, all right, so you got brass at the scene, but no gun. Well, what's the difference? I mean,
well,
but whatever.
It's kind of
it's
like
a waste of money.
It's
is
kind of
what
like
it is.
this whole thing about when you're growing up and you're a kid and you read about make believe, like all of this make believe. Well, what I hear about make believe is not fantasy. It's make believe. What I can make you believe, and that's what all this is about. The vein that this entire thing throbs from is what they can make you believe, what they can
Or make you
control,
feel.
or make you feel, and that's the thing. We have to digress from emotion and look at things based on logic, okay? If 10 people a year got killed on a job site because a hammer fell off of a roof and hit someone in the head and killed them, would we ban hammers? No, we would make sure that people were safe by wearing a helmet, right? I mean, you make sure that you wear a hard hat, and then maybe those 10 people won't die in a year because a hammer fell off the roof and knocked them out and killed them or whatever. So if there's gun violence or people that are doing harm to each other with firearms, don't punish the entire populace. You don't control guns. you control the people that are using guns in the wrong way. And you do that by good people being able to deal with them when those things happen.
Well, and also
you can't punish everybody
No.
for a couple of retards. I mean, what, 650,000 people die a year from heart disease, cancer, car wrecks? Are we banning cars?
No.
Is there going to be executive orders on cars? Oh, well, if you're caught going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, you're going to jail for 10 years.
Well, and all this crap too about like prosecuting the manufacturer of a firearm for the actions of an individual who may have used that firearm
Or the
in a
FFL
crime.
who
or
sold the gun.
or the gun dealer who sold that. That was a big thing with Bloomberg, like several years back. They were coming down here to Georgia, and he was sending his cronies down here to buy guns to take back to New York and use in crimes. Put them on, like literally give them to gangs. Like, hey, you guys want to buy this gun? Hey, yeah,
they
sure.
wanted the firearms to originate here and wind up there, and they sent federal employees down here to commit felonies. It is a felony offense.
It's a straw purchase.
To commit a straw purchase knowingly is a federal offense. It is a felony. It's a big deal.
But
okay?
this is a.
But it's okay for them to do it in the name of their objectives.
This is a far left progressive with just. He's just got a taste for gun control. He wants it so bad. He wants it so bad that he fabricates it. He can't just deal with the statistics as they lay.
He can't let a sleeping
it.
lion lie. He has to kick it.
I mean, come on.
That's the thing.
This is the kind of crap that we're dealing with. All right, so what do you do? I mean, this stuff is just silly.
You don't kick a
silly.
sleeping lion. I mean, if the lion's sleeping, you can sneak by him. For God's sake, sneak by him.
Yeah, but
Don't
look,
wake him up.
all these executive actions are they're pandering to the emotions of his base. That's it.
Well, they're also catering to the emotions of people who I feel are not only emotionally weak, but mentally weak.
They don't want to do research for themselves, look at the statistics or look at the stories for themselves and do the research and figure things out on their own. Like, I don't know, that doesn't really quite sound right. Let me look into that. I mean, like...
You can't believe everything you told.
Okay, so someone who heard like what I mentioned earlier about the background check thing, someone who doesn't buy guns all the time or have never bought a gun before, they might hear that and say, wait a minute, you can buy a gun on the internet without a background check?
And not even bother to check the facts.
I mean, come on. A person with some common sense would say, that can't be right. No, and a quick Google search.
Oh,
and
but
say,
something the president says has to be right, though.
I mean, come on, guys.
He's the president.
All this crap is, like I said, it's just pandering to emotion and whatnot, and this is just, I mean, it just is what it is. But
I know.
Is anything going to come of it? No. More of our tax dollars are going to go to pay for more federal employees that really aren't needed.
Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind if they hire some people to process more.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I did
more
read
Form 1s and Form 4s.
Wait a minute. You know what? I was going to say something about that earlier, and I did read something. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
You and your freaking iPad.
Dude, I love this iPad. All right, let me see. Let me find it real quick.
I know this video is kind of going off on several veins here, but I hope you guys...
The president's... All right, so this is under Make Our Community Safer from Gun Violence.
What do we have?
All right, the president's fiscal year 2017 budget will include funding for 200 new ATF agents and investigators to help enforce our gun laws. Wait a minute.
NFA?
I wonder, because of 41P, if they're hiring more people to keep the wait time the same.
Nah, don't get your hopes up. Yeah, you're giving them way too much credit.
Oh, I'm sad.
I know you guys probably detected quite a bit of sarcasm in this video. And guys, we try to have a little fun. We try to make you guys laugh when we can. I know we're preaching to the choir. I know this video could fall upon deaf ears in some regard. Okay, I know I'm preaching to the choir, whatever, but we have to really make sure we're keeping an eye on these kind of things and that we're making our voices heard. I mean, that's the beauty of freedom of speech. But remember, the freedom of speech and the soapbox is great, but the bullet box protects the soapbox.
The ballot box?
The soapbox.
The bullet box.
I said the bullet box protects the soapbox.
The ballot box.
No, the soapbox. You stand on the soapbox. When someone's on the soapbox, they're talking. Your Second Amendment rights protect your right to assemble and complain and gripe and vote. Second Amendment protects all the other rights. So that's something to think about.
This is my bullet box.
Your bullet box. Well,
Protects the soapbox.
what Chad is referring to is it goes in the order of you start on the soapbox, then you go to the ballot box. And if that doesn't work, you go to the bullet box. That's what he is referring to. That's the order of degree of pissed offness, whatever you want to say. Well, but guys, you know, your freedoms are always under attack. And even if you're watching this video and you're one of those anti-gun people that's going, yeah, what a bunch of weirdos, what a bunch of hacks. Well, whatever. Think about it like this. Okay, you're anti-gun, you're watching this video. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here. What about your freedom of speech? How important is your freedom of speech to you? What if I were a pro-gun person? I'm a pro-gun person, but what if I were to tell you, you wouldn't gather it, would you?
No.
But what if I were to tell you, oh, well, screw you, and everything you think is so irrelevant that I'm going to legislate your existence away. I'm going to sign in some law as a president that says your say doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't feel very good, does it? So why would I say, well, you don't have the right to be anti-gun when I'm not saying that you can't disagree with me.
Yeah,
if you're you can disagree with me all you want,
gun
but
speech.
you have no right to tell me how to live my life.
Well, maybe they can like regulate gun speech or something like. I mean, these leftists, these progressives are trying to do with like certain ethnic group hate speech. Really?
Oh, so, God, don't get me started on that.
I'm not even. That's a topic for another day. But
it is.
Just some. If you pay attention, there is some really crazy stuff that these people are trying to push through, and you're what? I mean, are you just like taking the Constitution and wiping your ass with it? I guess you are, because I mean they consider it an antiquated document. They just don't care.
They don't care.
I mean, but
well, guys, the bottom line is, again, I know we've discussed it time and time again, but I always like to just make sure we beat the point home here. You cannot regulate morality. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. No person sitting behind some desk in a suit with a pencil or pen is going to tell me how to live my life and is going to tell me what's good for me and my family. Only I know that. And that's the bottom line. I am a free man.
Personal responsibility, personal independence.
Responsibility and personal independence and the guardianship of liberty. Mm-hmm. That's what firearms ownership is all about. It's about having fun, putting food on the table, and guess what, guys? The Second Amendment is about protecting ourselves from tyrannical government. That's the bottom line. It ain't about sporting purpose or any of that. Oh, mm-hmm. It's a sporting purpose, all right, but it's not. It's the sport. It's keeping each other in check. It's keeping them.
Well, there's a little bit of that going on right now in Oregon.
Well, we're going to talk about that at a later time. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I'm not going to comment on that right now. Neither you.
Yeah, just to mention. But
guys, thanks for watching this video. We know it was long. I always say that, but I always feel like we drag things out. But I think the thoughts were kind of pertinent. Hopefully, this gave you something to think about. Maybe, as they say, you'll keep your ear to the ground, hear it coming, and be able to avoid it. All right, that's the thing. We want to make sure we're always keeping our elected officials in check. They are there to serve you. They work for you.
Not the other way around.
They are a public servant. They are your employee. You pay their paycheck. Think about that. Mm-hmm. They are there to serve you, not the other way around. Keep them in check, keep them honest, and keep them accountable for their actions. It's all about accountability. And I think that's where we'll leave this video. So,
good point.
Thanks for watching, and you guys have a good one. We'll catch you next time. Many more, on a more positive note, many more videos on the way, more gun gripes, which hopefully they'll be few and far between on these types of videos.
No, there's a lot to gripe about. There's probably going to be a lot to gripe about this year.
Yeah, this year is definitely going to have more of that coming. But more gun gripes, more firearms facts. We have a series called Meltdown, which is awesome. We take post-sample machine guns and we shoot them till they basically stop or destroy themselves, which is kind of fun. We do a lot of gun reviews, reloading, few reloading things here and there, gunsmithing. So, guys, we've got a ton of different things we do on
coming up
this channel.
soon. SHOT Show.
Yeah, we got a ton of SHOT Show.
Oh, God.
Yeah, actually, if you're just tuning into this channel and you don't follow us, just know that you should definitely subscribe. We attend SHOT Show and NRA each year. We're going to be attending SHOT Show here coming up, I think on the 17th. We're flying out. We'll be in Vegas for a week, showing you all the new stuff coming out in the firearms industry. It's a very exhaustive time, a lot going on, but I think you'll be able to appreciate the amount of coverage.
It's fun, but boy, it's going to be a busy, busy week.
Yeah, a lot of work.
Ooh, Lordy.
Well, anyway, we're looking forward to it. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll let you go. We'll catch you next time.
Take care, guys.